What up, family? It's Wednesday. This is the Swagu Podcast. First of all, let me apologize for no Friday episode. Got to give y'all a background. My oldest daughter in the volleyball playoffs. The games are being played on Fridays and Saturdays, and I'm going to be there. I'm not going to do the podcast in lieu of missing some of her last high school volleyball games. So that's the reason. I'm sorry, not sorry. Enjoying watching her the last few high school games and then college. Crazy world I'm living in. But with that being said, that's the reason that we had no Friday drop. More than likely, it will be no Friday drop this week as well because they playing in the semifinals and hopefully the state championship. We're not going to cross fingers. I expect them to get it done. But let me get to it. I got a lot of things on my mind. I got a lot of things on my mind. Sports is the thing that keeps on giving. Y'all, I think we got to, I said this about Mahomes. I've said this about LeBron James. I've said this about Aaron Donald. We cannot get fatigued when we watching greatness actually happen in real time. And right now, family, we have to take a second and pause and respect what Lamar Jackson is doing as the quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens and how he's playing the position and the level in which he's playing the position. See, we had this thing in media when we talk or wax poetic about a quarterback, we have to mention other quarterbacks. I'm not going to do that. I'm sticking directly to Lamar Jackson and what he is doing as of right now during this season. Lamar Jackson has thrown for 2,669 yards. He has 24 touchdowns to 2 interceptions and a 76.9 QBR. I just want to say that again, 2,669 yards, 24 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 76.9 QBR. That ain't his legs. See, I'm abreast to all the narratives. I don't even want to call myself being a Lamar defender. I just watch football and I watch players play football. And I've thought and have said this publicly that when Lamar Jackson is on the field, he's the best football player on the field. Now he's starting to be the best quarterback on the field and in the entire league. And there is no question about it that he is right now the best quarterback in the National Football League. And I'm not talking about overall. I'm talking about right now, today, as we sit here. And since this season has started, he's on his way to winning his 3rd MVP. And I get it because I'm one of them. Swag, show me the Super Bowl, and then we can start having phenomenal conversations about Lamar Jackson. I'm not going to do that yet, y'all. I'm going to talk about his play and his ability right now today. And his play and his ability right now today can win him a Super Bowl. I don't think anybody was more frustrated at the way that Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens played last year in the AFC Championship when they played against the Kansas City Chiefs. I was frustrated because I didn't think he was 100% full Lamar Jackson. I thought he was holding back a little bit. And I'm not saying holding back as in I don't want to go out and win the game. I'm saying holding back because he fell into what I think the narrative is sometimes is that he needs to deliver with his arm. That's just how I felt. I was more pissed off that Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, only ran the ball 6 times, but I thought Lamar Jackson could have done more. And obviously it was some bad they had some bad luck. The Zay Flowers punch out by L'Jarius Sneed, which was a great play. He obviously would have scored a touchdown right there. There were things that transpired in that game that still could have had Baltimore playing for a Super Bowl or at least being in the game at the end. But I said it. I will not mention another quarterback. Lamar Jackson right now, when you watch him play, there's an expectation that he's going to be great. And you only get in that conversation from consistency. And the level of consistency that we've seen from Lamar Jackson, it is worthy of taking a pause and realizing that we are watching history. Lamar Jackson more than likely is going to win his third NFL MVP. And for all of you out there that said, yeah, but he ain't going to win a Super Bowl, I don't care about that right now. What I care about is you are on your way for a third time being named the most valuable player in the National Football League amongst the best football players the world has to offer. I'm gonna take that in for a minute, man. I'm going to choose to respect and admire and realize that we witnessing something in this league that we haven't seen before with Lamar on his way to winning the third MVP. I don't think it's going to fall apart. I will say it with my full chest that Lamar Jackson is going to win his third most valuable player award. And I get it. We don't play this game for individual accolades. He will even tell you it means nothing until I win a Super Bowl. I vehemently disagree with Lamar Jackson about it not meaning anything. I don't know how many humans that have played quarterback in the NFL has 3 MVPs, but I'm sure the list is very, very short. I'm sure the list in sports in general of being a league MVP of a national of a professional team. I'm not even just talking about football. I'm sure winning 3 MVPs of your league is not done very much. Let's just let let's just like enjoy and respect and admire what he's doing as an individual football player. And oh, by the way, helping his team win at a very high rate. Super Bowl is the goal, and I get it. But the fact that we have a podcast, the Swagu Podcast, by the way, like, subscribe, follow, catch us on YouTube. I'm going to respect the man for what he's doing as an individual, because what he's doing as an individual always has his team in contention to win Super Bowl. I would love, y'all know I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, I would love to truly believe that I'm in contention and my team is in contention to win the Super Bowl. I just think it was worth taking a second to realize what this young man is doing in the NFL right now. It's not something that comes around often. It's special. So as we continue to have these conversations about him winning a Super Bowl and making the comparisons to other quarterbacks and talking about what he has done, what he hasn't done, let's just respect the fact that Lamar Jackson is the best player in the NFL right now. Right now, 6 players in the history of the league, 6 players have won 3 MVPs, 3 or more. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Jim Brown, Johnny Unitas. Lamar Jackson is going to be the 7th name added to that list. So out of all of the players that have ever played football, he's going to be now one of 7, because I'm predicting he's going to win the MVP. He's going to be one of 7 players to ever win 3 MVPs in the National Football League. We live in a day and age where we want to move on. We want to find the next superstar. We want to move like, hey, that was great. You had your time. Let's take a beat. Lamar Jackson. Brother, watching you play football is an absolute pleasure. Watching you do your thing with your legs and from the pocket, from a leadership standpoint, from the way your teammates look at you and admire you and respect you, from the way your head coach, the general manager, the owner, Steve Bisciotti, the way they look at you as the face of that franchise and the way you've been able to carry that franchise and continue to elevate your level of play to make people firmly believe that eventually you'll get over the hump and win you a championship of Lombardi, kudos to you, big dog. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy this greatness while I watch it. I just had to get that off my chest, family. I think we got to respect what we seeing Lamar Jackson do. If you don't, and look, y'all know this is an open forum. Disagree, agree. Swag, you right, but he got to win a championship. I get all of that. I'm just choosing to celebrate the man for what he's doing right now. 2,669 yards, 24 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 76.9 QBR. With his arm. With his arm. When he came out of college, some people suggested he play wide receiver. Okay, then. Let me move on. There's something going down in Chicago that I was afraid was going to happen, and I didn't want it to happen because there was so much optimism coming into this season. With the number 1 overall draft pick, they took Caleb Williams. They hired Shane Waldron, who is now fired as the offensive coordinator, who had some time in Seattle, who had some offenses that played at a very high level. Matt Eberflus, the head coach. Flus was on the staff in Dallas when I was in Dallas. Like Eberflus a lot, but I think he's wrapping up his career as a head coach in Chicago. I'd be shocked if they bring him back. See, there's a responsibility and a level of right now is a new word. A level of right now is that happens when you draft a quarterback number 1 overall. Everybody is put on notice about his development, about where he is, about what they think he should be at this point of the season, and Caleb Williams has not been that. There has not been a significant progression in his play. So, in turn, people get fired. Because the amount of weight that you put on a number 1 overall draft pick at the quarterback position and hand the keys to the franchise, there's a level of responsibility that comes with that from everybody. Ryan Poles, I know you did a phenomenal job GMing, but hey, man, you got to get this right because it'll be you after that if it don't turn around. Caleb Williams right now is playing quarterback like he played at USC. Only problem with that is Caleb, everybody better. These defenses, these D-lines, these linebackers, these secondaries, the speed, the study of finding your tendencies and weaknesses and taking advantage of them and exploiting them every Sunday. Not just a Saturday when you play Michigan or Alabama or Georgia. It's every Sunday. See, the evaluation in college sometimes is difficult, and this is why the level of competition matters. Some guys overcome it and become great players. Some guys are magnified by the competition that they play in, and they don't realize how much harder it's going to get when they come to that next level. And by no means am I digging Caleb Williams' grade. I think he can be a really good quarterback. You see the talent. You've seen flashes of the ability this year so far. But ultimately, he's not going to be the first one to go. We see it falling. Shane Waldron, the offensive coordinator, was not good for Caleb Williams. And when I say not good, the proof is in the fact of his play, but also the production. Now, there may be stories in the future to come out that Caleb didn't want to do certain things or whatever, but right now, when you take a quarterback first overall, he better show some signs. And it puts so much pressure on you. We just had this happen last year, y'all. We just had C.J. Stroud, the number 2 pick, play so well that Bryce Young's criticism, the number 1 overall pick in Carolina, was so above what the norm would be because the dude right under him was playing at a damn near had one of the best rookie seasons at quarterback ever in CJ Stroud, and Bryce Young was barely making it through Sunday games. Now, I know circumstances and situations are different. I get it. That does not admonish you of the comparison. And that is exactly what's happening right now with Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, because Jaden Daniels is playing his face off in Washington. And Caleb Williams looks like he is a fish out of water and does not understand what he's doing outside of a few good throws because of his talent. The Bears haven't had a TD in 2 straight games, bro. You got the one thing you got to do in this league, as much as we talk about anything else, is score points, because you having more than the other team means you win the game. And when you ain't scoring touchdowns, it is very, very difficult to win. But we starting to, like, this is the NFL now, right? You invest, you take these quarterbacks. You better have the right infrastructure. You better have the right people. You better lean into what he does well. And if he doesn't do something well, you better keep him away from it like the plague, bro. And I just don't feel like Shane Waldron did that. And that's why he no longer has a job. And I believe the coaching staff needs to be on notice. Because this is what comes. Like, yeah, it's super exciting when you leading up to the draft and you're doing these evaluations and you sending them playbooks months before he show up. It's super exciting. Everybody happy. We about to fix the franchise. And then when it don't work out, guess who get fired? The coaches. Because the ownership gonna believe in that player. They've invested in them. So coaches, general managers, offensive coordinators, when you take a quarterback number 1 overall, you will be the first to go when it don't work out. So as much as you celebrating and happy, you better understand the responsibility that comes with that. And then the pressure that's being put on you by the dude that you didn't take number 1, that went 1 pick after that, playing out of his mind. Another added pressure. Because them fan bases get loud, and can't nobody convince me that when them fan bases get loud, the ownership of that team don't listen. Except maybe one, and we'll talk about that later. All right, man. Telling you. Chicago, Ryan Poles, Chicago ownership. Y'all got to get it right, man. Offensive. You probably got to go an offensive guy unless you find a stud like a D'Amico Ryans who can put a staff together. You probably need to go offensive head coach so they can spend that time with Caleb Williams and have the full attention of what he's trying to do. Somebody that can manage both roles, head coaching and coaching him. Get it right, or you'll be gone. Now, I got to address something that was in the media, man, because this is a lot of people don't know this, and I don't broadcast it much. This is a big brother to me, a mentor, a guy that I look up to, I respect tremendously. And I don't know if you all are familiar, but this week was crazy for Michael Strahan. The national anthem was played while they were on television. All of his co-hosts had their hand over their heart, and Strahan was standing still, listening to the national anthem. And he got absolutely flamed for not having his hand over his heart. And it was disrespectful to the military. It was disrespect. Shut the hell up. Shut your ass up. That's what people need to tell people. Shut up, man. Just talking. Michael Strahan literally comes from a military family. And no, that doesn't mean he have to have a tremendous amount of respect for the military because he come from a military family. But if you know anything about Michael Strahan, he does have a ton of respect for military families. Gives his own time, his own money, has acknowledged the military and how important it has been in his life forever. And that now just run wild. because it's popular. Like the attention seeking that happens on social media from negativity is, y'all, I promise, if I didn't have this job, Instagram, all that would be off my phone. I don't partake. I don't get into the political arena. I don't get into these conversations that's going on. I see grown men going back and forth on Instagram and X and fighting and oh, bruh. But I'm looking at this situation with Michael Strahan, and I'm thinking to myself, and I say this all the time. My close friends will tell you, even people I work with, social media ain't real life. It's not. Real life, I always give this example. We get vitriol and we get so much craziness said to us on social media. Them people don't never say nothing to us in person. I promise y'all. I done got crazy stuff from all kind of cities, all kind of fan bases. I'm sure they've been at stadium. I'm sure that individual has been to games if they that passionate about their teams. I'm sure they've been at the stadium when I've been there doing the show. I ain't never had one of them come up to me and say no crazy. Because in real life, you got to deal with certain consequences. But on social media, it's this free form, and you excoriate Michael Strahan of all people about respecting the military. What? And then my brother has to make a statement about something that's a non-issue to him, because we have been warped into thinking that I have to respond when somebody is attacking me on social media or saying something to me on social media. Bro, like this has become something for me that has been like, for real, I didn't know this person existed 3 seconds ago. And y'all know me, I'll clap back, I'll say cool, I'll say okay. If we talking football and we going back and forth about those type of opinions and you didn't like something I said, cool. But to think that I need to prove anything to you, you have, Swagu, sadly mistaken. To think that anything you say has an effect on anything that's going on in my life, you are mistaken. So I always like put a call out to my colleagues, put a call out to people in the media, put a call out to people in general. You got kids, you got children, you got young adults worried about how they look, because they social media might not like me if I don't do this. It brought this up because of how wrong people will be, and you'll see other people jump in that have no idea and could care less. And that's the point. The point is the rant, or you get mad at Michael Strahan for what you think he's supposed to do during the national anthem. And then 5 minutes later, you on to the next thing trying to find somebody else to excoriate. There are people, and I want to tell y'all, there are people on these social media platforms that are there to create bull. And now there's a feel of this obligation to address it in the public forum because somebody said you wasn't respecting the national anthem. Now I get it. Like, I understand why Stray would address that. A man had media outside his house. Like, for standing there still listening to the national anthem. I didn't even know you had to put your hand over your heart for the national anthem. I never do. I stand there, they sing the national anthem, I glance at the flag, I look at people around, I usually sing along, and then I go on by my day. Especially if the singer is singing. Like I YouTube Whitney Houston and Marvin Gaye national anthem. Chris Stapleton sung one of the best national anthems at the Super Bowl I ever heard in my life. I'm glad I was able to enjoy it instead of somebody saying, why don't you have your hand over your heart? Stray, I'm sorry you had to go through that, bro. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. I usually text you these type of things, but I wanted to say this publicly because all of the and the fools wanted to jump on you about how you were standing there listening to the national anthem and not knowing your history, just trying to create something. Because you a public figure and you in the limelight and trying to create something. Yeah. Stray, keep doing your thing, man. We proud of you. You're a trendsetter. You're a reason why a lot of us are able to be in this media and have a tremendous amount of success. And I know how much the national anthem and the military means to you because I know you. Got that off my chest. Now on to happier things. Happy, sad, however you look at it, I was very happy. We'll go to NBA. Klay Thompson returned to Golden State. He's here with the Dallas Mavericks. I can't wait to go see him because I'm in Dallas. I can't wait to go see him. I'm going to be sitting on that floor, watching Luka and watching Klay. I'm gonna be on that floor, man. I want to see Klay just let that thing fly. Y'all know my son hoops, so we like to go to a lot of games together, and we like to see these dudes play it at the very highest level. Kyrie gonna be in that bar list. But Klay returned to Golden State last night. They did a tribute video. All of the people that work in the Golden State Warriors organization was lined up while Klay walked in the stadium, and they gave him the captain. First of all, the fans, everybody had a captain's hat on. They gave the captain the welcome that he should have. And it just reminded me of the business of sports doesn't always mean that you have to be in disgust with the team that you love and played for and won championships with because you left. Because the business sometimes is the business, and we got to do things in order to continue this business going forward. But the level of respect that they showed Klay Thompson meant a lot to me as a former athlete. It meant a lot to people out here in the community. And Golden State, kudos to you for showing your son, one of your own, the respect and the admiration and the gratitude for what he was able to accomplish while being there. Klay shot 50% from the three as well. So he still got it. Steph got the last laugh, which Steph been doing for a long time. But Klay did his thing. He gave him a show. But more important than that, basketball part being aside, y'all disseminate over the game. I just love the fact that they showed him the proper respect. And you could tell Klay was emotional. You could tell that Klay loved those fans and those people in Golden State. He respected that franchise in the highest regard. And obviously the love he has for his former teammates. He handled it like a professional, but Golden State handled it like the professional was returning home, and they had a love and an admiration and a respect, and they showed that to Klay Thompson, and Klay Thompson responded by playing and doing what Klay Thompson does. I don't think it gets any better than that. That even though the business of basketball had to take place and you are now with the Dallas Mavericks, which we very happy here in Dallas, the fact that he's with the Mavericks. I'm a New Orleans Pelicans fan. Anybody knows that. I'm a New Orleans Pelican fan, but I cheer and root for the Dallas Mavericks as well. And we love the fact that he's here. I mean, just absolutely love it. But Klay is Golden State's own. That's a lot of love and respect, man. Warriors are 9-2. They tied atop of the West. The Mavs gonna get it going. They'll be there. There'll be a team in the playoffs. They'll get it going. They'll get it rolling. They'll play at a very high level. But I just love seeing Klay get that welcome and get that tribute on the video board. That was beautiful to see. The business doesn't have to take away the personal, and you could tell that it's a lot of affection and admiration still that dwells between the Golden State Warriors brass, ownership, players, coaches, fans, and Klay Thompson. That's love, man. Now, I wanted to talk about Klay before I got to this next topic in the NBA because this ain't much of a high note. Joel Embiid, 2 for 11, 3 rebounds in 26 minutes, and the Sixers are 2-8. Yo. Now, I know Tyrese Maxey didn't play. They signed Paul George this offseason. The Philly fans expect the 76ers to be really, really good basketball team. Now, last night against the Knicks. Joel is obviously not healthy. Say he's working back in. He's trying to get there. Trying to see if they're gonna let him play back-to-backs. This dude was the league MVP. What was it? 2 years ago? No? Yeah, 2 years ago. League MVP. He just didn't look good, y'all. And I ain't the one to be piling on, man. Because I know Joel. I just, a few podcasts back, I went off on the reporter or the writer or whoever. But now we're talking about basketball. Joel didn't look good, bro. And in order for the 76ers to get to where they want to be, he got to look good. He got to be in shape because he looked gassed multiple times. But, he's been out. He got to be healthy, stay healthy. The talent we never need to talk about. Joel Embiid is one of the most talented players in the NBA. And it's not even close. You can make an argument that he is the most talented player in the NBA. There's an argument to be made there just from ability alone. But all of those other elements of what it takes for me, what I've seen and watched over the time that I've been watching the NBA, I don't know if Joel Embiid is ever going to be in great tip-top shape. I don't know what that looks like for Joel Embiid. I don't know if he's never going to be injury prone. He gets injured a lot. I'm sad because I don't know. I know 2 years ago I watched him be the best player in the NBA, and it wasn't even close. 50 points, 20 boards, assists, handles, great mid-range, can take you off the bounce, can shoot the three, can shoot the mid-range, should be a rebounding beast. Man, this early in the NBA season, I just don't want to feel like this. Joel, what we gonna do, man? Big dudes getting injured, man. They just be cutting careers short when you hurt all the time. When you don't feel good. I don't know, man. I don't know what it's going to take. But here's what I do know. Whoever you got to talk to, determine your regiment, all of that, bro. Figure it out, because I do not want to see your career not be what it should be. You just too damn good. at basketball. And I know, like, some injuries you can't avoid, some things you can't get over, but man, do everything you can, man. We want to see it. Because when you playing at that level and Jokic playing at that level, and I'm just imagining y'all meeting up in the finals, the world would go crazy, Joel. Come on, Embiid, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's try to find it, bro. Because if you find it, the addition of Paul George, the ascension of Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, Embiid. Whatever we got to do, bro. Whatever we got to do. All right, I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna be paying attention. Now I got to go to college. Cause I'm gonna tell you right now, Duke, Kentucky last night was phenomenal basketball, bro. First of all, shout out to Big Blue Nation, Kentucky, for getting that dub. Them boys played tough. They gritted. They gonna have something to say for this NCAA championship this year. I guarantee it. Had no players, transfer portals, had to get it done. They come out and beat Duke, who I believe had the best recruiting class in history. Everybody talking about these youngins, and obviously Cooper Flagg. And I'm gonna get to Cooper Flagg, but I'm gonna give Kentucky they love first for being down and fighting back. Them boys played, and a lot of it really stemmed from them having experience. A lot of transfers on that team. A lot of dudes that them played some college basketball, understood the gravity of the moment, understood situational basketball. Kentucky balled in that comeback, dog. The big fellas, the guards, the number 77, I don't remember his name, but that little mustache, fire, dog. Don't cut it off. You was hooping. I mean, they let him shoot from half court, so he must can shoot it. But let me go to the other side, because I did watch Cooper Flagg go for 26 and 12. The youngin is projected the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft, and rightfully so. But let me say this to y'all: 17 years old. He's 17. 17. Now, I've been following Coop since he was in high school. His main EYBL team, he played at Montverde High School that's prominent in basketball. Everybody knew he was a pro. About 3 years ago. 2-3 years ago, everybody liked to do the pro. He could be the number 1 overall pick. Then he goes and plays in the USA. He practices against the USA team, the Olympic team that won gold with LeBron and KD and Steph, and held his own. So everybody like, damn, he ready now. First time I saw him play, I was with my son. My son, one of the nationally ranked players in 2027. But the first time I saw Cooper Flagg play, I was with my son. I told my son, I said, hey, that's what real hoopers look like. 6'9", athletic, long, great timing on shot blocking. The shot continues to develop. They want him to shoot the ball better. It looks like it's continuing to develop. Got handles, can put it on the floor. A great defender, which is probably why he's going to be a really good pro, because he defends out of his mind. A shot blocker. The lines that he was putting together, the stat lines that he was putting together in high school was crazy astronomical at times. But last night, as a 17-year-old with Duke, who has a lot of really good young basketball players, he was the star among stars. Now, I'm going to get to the 2 turnovers at the end of the game. First, I want to acknowledge that the coach was willing to put the ball in a freshman 17-year-old hands at the end of the game against the University of Kentucky to win the game. So let's acknowledge that. Let's acknowledge how they've acknowledged his ability and what he can do as a basketball player. But it resulted in 2 turnovers. I watched Jay Williams last night on ESPN talk about the first one. He got down here, turned his back to the basket. That's something you'll learn as a young player. You don't want to turn your back to the basket in that situation. You either getting downhill to the rack or you getting your defender off balance and you pulling up for a jump shot. You live with a miss. Don't want to turn it over. Then the following possession, he comes down, goes to the corner, slips, looked like it was a slip area, turn the ball over, put his hand down, out of bounds, lost the ball again, and was distraught. But that's not the one for me. Those are not the ones for me. These are the ones. And even though he's 17 and he got all this talent, his coaches need to get on his ass. You got to box out. Gave up an offensive rebound at the end of the game. Got to box out. Because I think the two previous possessions he couldn't get out of his head, so he let that play and not box out on a free throw get into his head, and he didn't do his job because he was thinking about the two previous turnovers. And I think that directly correlates to being 17 years old. He just didn't. He hadn't got over it. You could see his demeanor after he turned the ball over twice. You could see it just shrink. The life let out of him. Felt like he let his team down. And yes, it happens. But there was still more basketball to be played. Gave up an offensive rebound. He'll learn from it. But 26-12 at 17 years old against the University of Kentucky, who putting dudes out there that had already played college basketball, a lot of time, a lot of experience, for you to be able to do that and your coach be willing to put the ball in your hands at the end of the game as a 17-year-old freshman with the full confidence that you're going to go and make a play because he's an elite passer as well, that said a lot about me. Now, you got to get on his ass, coach, for not boxing out at the free throw line. I'd have been fuming. But all the good that he did, you also let him know, hey, man, we need you. We're going to be counting on you. Shout out to Cooper Flagg, man. Cooper Flagg a hooper. Cooper Flagg going to be the first pick in the NBA draft. Another kid at Rutgers named Ace Bailey who going to be in that conversation. But Cooper Flagg, right, I believe, is going to be the first pick of the NBA draft. And whatever team get him, they got a franchise guy. They can build it around him because he is like that at 17 years old. He'll be 18 when he get drafted. He reclassed up. In this day and age of reclassing down, we got 17-year-olds playing freshman basketball, like playing with freshmen in the class with them. That man reclassed up and said, no, I'm ready. I'm about to go. Y'all let me know what y'all feeling about Joel Embiid, this Caleb Williams situation. Like, subscribe, follow, watch us on YouTube. This has been the Swagu Podcast. We fixing, we getting stuff straight, and we talking about players that we want to see do well, and we talking about players that we see and do well. Peace and love, family. I'll talk to y'all next time.